everybody, and welcome back from a very dreary, rainy, kind of cold New York City. My name is Ryan Selvy, and this is File New, your weekly source of creator news, designer news, art news, everything to keep you up to date with the ever-changing creator space. We're going to be going over a bunch of cool news stories, platform updates, some Adobe news. We've got some cool rebrands, some ridiculous rebrands, some font of the week, you name it. So make sure you stick around. We hope to have something, a little bit, everything for everyone. We've got some Illustrator tips as well. So we will be hopping into all of it. This is a live stream, but I try to make it as accessible as possible for those who are watching it as a replay. It's available on YouTube and Behance. Hello to all the regulars, Oliver, Wade, Franco, as well as Bruce over in YouTube chat. Good to have you guys here, and love to hear your thoughts on the stories as we hop into it. But we've got a lot to get through. Let's go ahead and just hop straight into the news. The first news that we have up is registration is open for MAX 2025, and it has new low-cost options. This is pretty exciting because I went to the Miami MAX, and I'm hoping that Adobe will have me back for the Los Angeles MAX. It is moving back to Los Angeles, where it has historically been up until this point, and it seems like that's just, you know, very accessible for people. And speaking of accessibility, they have introduced a flurry of new new accessibility options. I have a link to this and everything else in the Raindrop. But if you go to the Adobe blog, which is just blog.adobe.com, you'll be able to see that this is something that has a full breakdown. And I'm interested to know if anybody is planning on going themselves. There's now a Thursday Explorer Pass now available, it says. And it says, if your schedule won't allow you to join us in Los Angeles for all 3 days of the conference, you don't have to miss out. Get a one-day pass to attend sessions, labs, and photo walks. Check out Creative and take advantage of on-site Adobe certification testing at no additional charge. And so, yeah, this is something that you can also bring to your employer. I know a lot of employers also will pay for you to attend conferences and things. So this is something that is exciting to have. But make sure you go check it out. It's going to be October 26th through 27th. And that doesn't happen for a few more months, but it's also a lot closer than maybe you would anticipate. But fingers crossed that I will be there. I'll let you guys know, and I'll keep you updated because it was a lot of fun when we were down in Miami. But what can you do? This next one up is up for all of our photographers and videographers in the chat. This is some DJI news, but unfortunately it is not going to be for our American audience because there was the DJI Mavic 4 Pro that was announced, I think on Monday this week. I have no sense of time anymore. But it brings 3 cameras onto this little rotating sphere that's on the front of the camera. And what's really cool about it is that it can do this rotation to switch between the 3 lenses that it has. It has one 6K lens, another 4K lens, and another 4K lens. But the cool thing about it too is that when it rotates, it can also just film directly in vertical, which is really big, and we'll be talking about that all throughout this show as well, because there's a few other implementations of vertical video in more places. It's obviously a trend that is far beyond a trend at this point. It's just a new dimension that you have to account for when you're creating anything. But it is something that now within this drone you can see is just straight in the hardware. Even the thing that they have where they like flip it up is also the ability to move it. I can actually pull up the article that is on CineD, and you can see they have this new controller right here. This is from CineD themselves. And when you want to film in vertical, what you can actually do is you can actually just rotate this thing and then it turns to vertical, and the front of this will also turn on its own. It's not going to be sold in America though, which is a first thing that is happening for DJI. If you guys remember from a few episodes ago, there was some legal battles between Chinese-based owned DJI and America, and flight laws, and just them as a company in particular. Now with tariffs and everything else, there is now another clash. But if you're in Canada or Mexico, you still are able to get it, but it's just not being sold in America itself. but looks like a pretty cool thing. Alyssa is saying, if you're tuning in internationally, make some noise in the chat. And Tracy Marie is raising her hand. So thank you for tuning in. I know it's all different times all over the place. So I appreciate you guys being here in the early morning and the late at night. I guess really no, we're really early in the morning, unless you're like in Australia. But anyway, hello to Penny Ann, Apurva, and Mona. Thank you guys for being here. And this is also just a really great shout out too that we do have a Discord. And in the Discord, we have the file new section with some stuff that we're going to be talking about today. Make sure you hop in here and you say hello and hang out when it's not a Wednesday, because guess what? We exist 7 days out of the week, not just here on Wednesdays. And I want to talk more about these stories as they're going on. I need to get more in the habit of it, but I also don't want to just post into the void. So I'd love if you guys were there and we could hang out and I could hear your opinions on it as well. But of course, also super happy just to have you guys here on Wednesdays. I don't ask for too much. Hey, Bree, what's going on? But let's move on to our next story. Our next story is an update for creators. And this is just one that I really want to flag because there is a new app update that, or app offering that is available for CarPlay. And it essentially takes Twitch live streams and just extracts their live audio feed and plays it in a car. This is something that we've been seeing an increase of in all car manufacturers, the idea that there are more entertainment value. There are TikTok apps in CarPlay. There are YouTube apps as well. And basically, it's just going to show you that your medium and your form is going to be taken in and digested in more ways than you are probably anticipating for. I know in previous episodes, we talked about how Google is now cutting down YouTube videos and just taking out snippets. So it's really important to find a way to brand and own any portion of the things that you create. For audio as it goes, I don't really have anything. I mean, I guess I have my jingles in between each part, which is kind of a reminder as to where you are and what's going on. But you'll notice that, I keep everything on top of this purple background that we have that was originally designed by Paul Trani, and it just helps kind of ground it and remind that even if you take out the smallest snippet, that there's still going to be something. This is really interesting because this is taking a Twitch stream and just doing audio, and it's just remembering that when you're streaming, even if you're doing something and you're doing something that's so traditionally a visual medium, that there might still be people who are not watching it actively and then instead are just listening to audio. So audio is very important. Audio is very difficult for me, but it is something that is always important. So just continue to try to pay attention to that and see what's up. Penny's saying, ignore my meme GIF in the Discord. I don't think you should ignore it at all. I think it's great. Speaking of vertical video, though, of our DJI thing and talking about being taken in different contexts from what it is, Netflix is starting to explore the idea of a TikTokified setting on mobile. What does this mean? It means swipeable vertical videos that are available within the app that are all on Netflix. This is coming from Passion Fruit, Charlotte Colombo, who we tend to check out their articles a lot. And basically, TikTok is introducing this feature where they will take snippets of TVs and movie and cut down into memorable moments or clippable moments. And then from those clippable moments, you can then swipe through it as if you're on TikTok. But rather than just seeing it on TikTok and saying, oh, I should watch that, you're in the Netflix app. So then you're going to be able to click into the Netflix app. Well, you're already being in the Netflix app, but you'll be able to click into the shows or the clips that you have and then watch either the episode or the movie that it's from. And then it will just keep you kind of continuously in the app and in the thing. Bringing this up, I know a lot of you don't necessarily have Netflix shows. You're not producers, but it is just so important that everything we do is now being simplified and cut down smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller because our attention spans are getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And you just need to realize that 1, it's going to be vertical, and 2, it's going to be really short. So you need to say something like, Netflix is having a TikTok version on their mobile device where you can click into TV shows. All right. Interesting. I can clip that down for 10 seconds. I can share it wherever, but it's something that you just have to be mindful of. Better and for worse, up to you. I see in the chat, Penny is saying, Netflix, no. Tracy in the YouTube chat is saying, this is for us indecisive people who watch 100 trailers and can't pick a show, which is true. I'd be interested to see how this works out. I know they're also implementing some other choice options. Netflix, Hulu, all those streaming services have really struggled with finding a very successful way to organize their layout, and a lot of people just end up kind of continuing to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. Switching over to another platform, Kickstarter, the popular crowdfunding source, is unveiling a pledge manager to help manage with taxes and tariffs. Up until this point, a lot of the taxes have been on the creators to kind of figure out at the end of the year. Apparently, they're creating this new manager to be able to approach not only taxes, but then now tariffs with international travel. So if you're somebody who is creating things on a space that you are shipping things out, you're selling things out, I know that in some cases, these tariffs and stuff are going to be affecting digital sales and digital creations. So that's always something to check out as well. Just know that Kickstarter has this update. It's still in very early updates. This is also from Charlotte Colombo at Passion Fruit from an article on May 13th, 2025. Thank you, Wade, for putting the link into the chat for us. And you guys can go check it out. They're still developing details, but it is still something that could hopefully help people out. If you are a creator, especially in America, just make sure you're always at least saving like 35-40% of whatever you make and putting it into savings, because come tax year, boom, you're gonna need it. It's all art of the business, all of being a freelancer or creative, especially in America. Which brings us to a really great point, because there is a lot to understand about becoming a designer and a creator, and we have a flurry of new shows on Adobe Live that started up this week. They just started yesterday on Tuesday. The Goodtype gals, Katie and Alana, started up the Art Licensing Lab. And the Art Licensing Lab is a way that they're going to explore art licensing. And if you're not familiar with art licensing is the process of taking out your work and licensing it to different people or companies. That way you create a passive income stream where you already have these things and you can kind of create a catalog. You can then take this catalog and then shop it around to different partners, different brands, different companies, and say, hey, you can use this image of a ghost and a pumpkin for your Halloween content, but you're gonna have to pay me X number of dollars or percentage of whatever, which is really scary and something that doesn't come naturally. So it's really interesting to see these shows. There's going to be 7 episodes. They did the first episode yesterday, and it's really fun to have the two of them talk back and forth. One of them is sharing their screen, the other is kind of talking their experience. Goodtype is a fantastic type-focused collaboration between the two of them, and they're really good at being able to break down not only how to use the programs, but how to take that business experience and apply it to your own business. They are there in a live setting, so you can always go in and you can ask them questions. You can kind of bring them your conflicts or things that you need answers for, and then bring it in the chat, and then they will answer it. They're live on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, which is 1 p.m. Eastern, and it's really fun, and it's good, and you guys should check it out. You can watch the replay on YouTube. Tomorrow we have the first episode of Mariah Althoff's new show, and it's an express show. It's all about taking content and being able to turn it into lots of other content, because a lot of times when you're creating things, you're going to not have as much time, or you're not going to have as much resources to be like, I need to make 20 posts for this month. I don't want to have 20 different shoots. Her whole thing for the next 7 episodes is being able to take one thing and turning it into a lot more things. So the one that's live tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, is turn one YouTube video into 4 Instagram posts using Adobe Express, and she's going to be walking you through all of that. She's extremely well-versed in social media content and has great strategies, has great ways of being able to create good content. And since it's in Adobe Express, it's going to be easy for anyone to pick up and anyone to be able to work on. Adobe Express is actually even free for everyone, even if you don't have Creative Cloud. There are some limitations to that freeness, but for the big span of what it is, Adobe Express is a free offering, and it is all web-based, so you don't even need to have a super strong computer. You can just hop onto Adobe Express. And anyway, Maria will walk you all through that tomorrow, so make sure you guys tune in. You guys might have been watching earlier today Design School Summer Sessions. This is another new show. These are all the new shows that we're going through real quick. And in the new summer school session, she's going to be going through all of her understandings that she's learned outside of design school. So whether you don't go to design school at all, or if you are going to, just want information that is outside of design school, this is something that's really good. The description says classes in session, kind of. The first episode of Design School Summer Sessions, which is Maddie Thompson, kicking things off with some real talk about what it's actually like to be a designer after the lectures end. Whether you're school-taught, self-taught, half-taught, or just figuring it out as you go, this is your space to learn what design school skipped. So she talked a little bit about her path into design, what she wishes she had learned in school. She's looking at old projects and updating them. And really just exploring what it means to revisit and reapproach things after having real world life experiences. If you guys were here just before this show, you probably saw On the Spot, which is a live design show with MagDL. And this is something that's going to be happening on Wednesdays right before File New. Today's description for the show said, join Magdiel Lopez for the premiere of On the Spot, a live design show where he'll create a complete poster in just 45 minutes using Adobe Photoshop. No prep, just pure creative instinct. Watch as he takes live audience suggestions, improvises on the fly, and brings a concept to life in real time. Whether it turns out iconic or chaotic, it'll always be iconic. You'll get an unfiltered look at the creative process under pressure. Now, Magdiel is extremely talented, and he is really good at creating posters. That's kind of his bread and butter. So it's really interesting to be able to see the quick shortcuts and quick thinking that he takes within Photoshop and be able to apply it on the fly. The first episode was just before this, and so it's at 2 p.m. Pacific. Wait, no, I lied. 2 p.m. Eastern, which will be 11 a.m. Pacific. So you guys have me churning my head right here. And that is the On the Spot series. Once again, another 7 episodes. And we're all doing all these episodes all up until Adobe's annual week shutdown, which is at the very beginning of July. You guys will all be celebrating 4th of July or taking summer break anyway, so you won't even miss us. But we have all these shows, and they're going up straight up. Also, I hope this is not boring for you guys, but you'll just have to let me know if going through the schedule is too much or not. On tomorrow is an in-studio day with Create Togetherness, celebrating creativity, community, and mental health awareness, and streaming live from San Francisco. And this is pretty much an all-day thing from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific. We've got Annika Lidenberg, Anna Alexia Bazil, and Megan Billy. And then on Friday's a big, big day. Do you guys know Aaron Draplin? Of course you do. If not, he is one of the most legendary designers of the generation. That is not me being like an exaggerated or like amping up somebody that we have on Adobe Live. Like, Aaron Draplin is probably, like, for some, a household name outside of graphic designers, but for graphic designers in particular, he is like the guy, especially for logos and icons. He has an amazing experience. He's probably created a lot of things that you don't even know he created, but he is the go-to. And there is a Ask Me Anything that's going to be live on Adobe Live on this Friday, where you can hop in the chat and you can ask him anything. It's going to be just open for the chat to be able to look, have an inside look on how he is navigating his creative career and get advice how you can forward your own path in the industry. This is a very big opportunity. I know I sell and shill things on Adobe. This is Adobe Live, but I'm just saying, genuinely, as a designer, this is a really good opportunity. And if you are free on Friday at 10 a.m., I would check this out for sure. Annika's here, and Annika is also someone who can totally attest to the fact that I'm not just breathing hot air. Like, Draplin is a big name. But it's good to have you here, Annika. Good to see you. A Perva wants to know how I remember so many time zones. It's just I have to add 3 hours always from Pacific to Eastern. But I'm in Brooklyn, and I work with so many people on the West Coast that I just constantly have to do the three. And then also I'm doing scheduling for Adobe Live all the time. So, you know, what can you do? Also, Umacorn saying hello to Annika in the chat. You guys are on other sides, but you name it. And then I want to show live with the Adobe InDesign team. A lot of people are always asking for more InDesign stuff. There's an InDesign show on Friday, actually before the Draplin thing. It's going to be at 9 a.m. and that is with the team. So if you have questions for the team that you want to talk to straight up, say, why does this happen like this? Why does this work like this? Hop into the chat. You'll be able to hang out with Luke Choice and Pradeep Verma. They'll be able to hop it. And then guess what, guys? I'm live again on Friday, and it's me and Emily, and we're doing a summer planner, and we're going to do Have a Great Summer. And, you know, HAKAS, which I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but I didn't get suspended in middle school or high school when I wrote it in a yearbook, so who knows if I'll get suspended on Adobe Live. What did you guys normally say? Wow! What did you guys normally sign your yearbooks with? Was it Hags? Was it Hackus? Let me know. Never changed. Oliver says, a double Ryan week. You know it. That's what we're all about. All right, but that is enough of me droning on about Adobe Live. Basically, we just have so much cool stuff in the works. It's been a very busy week for me because we've been bringing all these new folks up to speed. And, you know, we have the next 7 weeks with them. It'll be really fun. And then we'll go from there. But make sure you tune them in. As I was saying, the Discord is available, and you guys can check it out. It is got all the new channels and stuff, so you can pop up, see on the spot. Design School Summer Sessions, File New is where we get to hang out. And I hope to see you guys there real soon. But enough Adobe updates. Let's go ahead and hop into a summer sale that is happening. This is with AeScripts and AE Plugins, which is a website that I've actually done previous work for. They're not paying for this. This is not shilled or whatever. I just kind of saw that they were having their summer of sales, which is normally when I pick up all my stuff. And so I wanted to see what was exciting and cool. A few of these ones I actually already have. This one, Newton 4, is the 2D physics engine, and this I used for a project where I wanted to have the things fall in After Effects as if they were actually falling in real life. Now, all of these are going to be something that is an investment, and also, once again, not an Adobe endorsement. This is just Ryan kind of going through it. But you can see that it lets everything just kind of like drop or move around so that they feel like they authentically are a part of gravity. And you can implement this with pretty much any of your shapes that you bring into After Effects. They also have like floating. You can link layers together with joints so that they, you know, are kind of connected and moving off. This is like a big update for something that's been around for a little bit. This is the 4th one, but it is on sale, so you can check it out. It looks like it's normally $249 and it's $187. So like I said, these aren't, you know, just the nothing, but they are something indeed. Next up, we also have Tracery. This is another one that's kind of big, and this is automating color-based object tracking and generating sophisticated, customizable visual overlays, effortlessly produce complex visual noise, data-informed diagrams, tracking graphics, and stylish motion elements derived directly from your video content. And you can see that this is like a really good way to be able to document your work, show your work for other artists, kind of create things that are tying together. It could work both as a way for your portfolio or for ways of being able to take this and apply it to something that feels, I don't know, maybe sci-fi or robotic, with creating these different data points that are going to be actually generated and then picking up, and you don't have to put in 1,000 little layers that then are measuring and going from it. So this is Tracer. It is on sale. GIF Gun, you guys know I love that one. I don't even have to show you this one. Basically, it lets you create GIFs straight out of After Effects. So right now you can normally put it into like H.264, and then after H.264 you can then create it. So then you make that and you convert it into a GIF. GIF Gun makes it really easy. I've used it for almost 10 years probably. It's now GIF Gun 2, which I also have, but definitely very cool. And then the very last one I have is for Photoshop users, and this is the Dither Pusher, which actually has gotten some pretty big traction online, some viral, and basically it can make things look very like pixely manipulated for Adobe Photoshop. You can make some really cool things where you can change up the icons and the colors that are in there, where you can go and you can have like a fractured path. You know, you can go and have it kind of like split up vertically. You can mix and match with them so that you can then separate the image and have these really cool retro effects. And you can see here they even have this slider of on and off. You can play with colors. You can play with how much is represented in the blacks or in the blues. And just really cool, especially if you're working on something that needs to look a little bit more analog. This is going to help you a lot, and it's all straight within your Photoshop. So that's also on sale and for you to check it out. Got lots of ooh-ahs. Umacorn says, got gift gun. I am Ryan Selvy. I'm saying you won't be disappointed. It is very helpful. A purpose saying, what did I miss? We were just going over a little bit of the AeScripts and AE plugin summer sales. Before that, we were just going over a bunch of the new Adobe Live channels, updates with new shows. Make sure you check them out, and make sure you join the Discord, which is over here. And make sure you say hello in the file new section, where you have Penny Doodles giving Schitt's Creek a nice little gif in the chat. All right, Penny's also getting gift gun. Wow, I feel like I should get some sort of like portion for recommending, but you know what? We're not, because that would make things conflict of interest, and so we're not. I don't get any money from any of this. This is just something that we got checked out. But let's move on to our next part, and that is, oh, whoa, no one told me that, guys. I wasn't looking at myself. I'm like at the bottom of the screen. I'm all, if you're watching this, if I'm gonna do this, I might as well like be the bottom in the center. That way it looks intentional, not just like Ryan's being lazy and going far into his little chair. But okay, I just have to fix my posture, make sure that my face is close to the microphone, and then I'm center on the camera. So this is much better. Good to know. I need to be right here. I need to tighten my microphone, and now we can hop on in to Font of the Week. All right, guys. Font of the Week. If you are new here, Font of the Week is something we do every single week, which gets the chat's opinions on what the best font out of 3 fonts that we pull from Adobe Fonts is each week. And then we like to explore a little bit about what they are, what we'd use them for, and which one's our favorite. So I always like to pick up and throw them just straight in the YouTube chat for the poll. So I'm going to have Kensington, Albiona, and is this one just called Modern? I don't think this one's called Modern. What is this one actually called? And I always have my favorite, and I'm always like wonder. It's called Macula, Mucla. And so I'm gonna say Font of the Week. All right, the poll is up. Enjoy. Make sure you vote, and before the end of the show, we will go ahead and we will announce which one it is. But just going down from top to bottom, let's look at Kensington. It's from Fort Foundry. It's designed by Jen Hood, and it is a sans serif condensed font. It is technically, it says compressed, not condensed. It's compressed, whatever difference is that. But it is actually, is that Jen Hood from Hoodspa Designs? Oh, it is. So I wonder why she is doing this with a different foundry, but we've actually had Hoodspa girls speak to their typefaces before on the stream before. They are so awesome at creating type. Definitely recommend checking out everything in Hoodspa, but I guess also checking out Fort Foundry to see what they're up to. I'm going to go ahead and write out file new in this typeface, and we will put it to the side, and then you guys will be able to see how it looks. You can see it's very tall X height, which an X height is the height of an X in any given typeface. You can see here, like this X, the X is here. Ooh, look at that fun little swirly X, though. It's kind of interesting how that's there, and it's not really swirly elsewhere. I also can see that the G is kind of fun. We like to also hop in and always check out the glyphs. The glyphs give you things to be able, you can switch out with other typefaces. You can always do. Sometimes there are ligatures and there's other extra items here. In the case here, it looks like they have trademark and an SM, whatever XM. They have a no, like a number. They have some arrows for you. They have cool little things to create a weird boundary for it. Wow, there's a lot of glyphs in here, actually. There's fingers pointing, there's rows, there's thorns, there's suns, there's lamps. So lots to unpack and play around in the glyphs form. And that is Kensington, and it's pretty cool. The next one up we have is Albiona. It is a device font. by Ryan Hughes, but Ryan is spelled with an I, which I don't know if I've ever seen before. So I don't know how I feel about that, Ryan. We in the Ryan with RYAN are taking note. This is a serif font. I think it's called a device font because I think it's supposed to be easily read on your phone or something, or maybe like an e-reader. I'm not entirely sure. And it is very, I don't know, it's modern, but it's also very accessible. It says that it's a slab serif family with elegant inwardly curved strokes, and it includes italics, old style, and tabular numerals, a modernization of classics such as Clarendon, suitable for extended text and headlines. So if you needed to have something that is body copy here, you could easily type it all out. You could have it in a strong body copy. I need to check my Slack because my Slack is blowing up. I need to make sure that no one is yelling at me on the side here. It doesn't look like it. It looks like I'm just an important person. Making sure no one's like, Ryan, you're floating off of the screen. Although in the chat, they're saying that Tracy's saying I'm feeling a little shy today. And Water Tiger is saying you're lurking. Yeah. You know. Also, I missed Alyssa saying yearbook nerds rise. Did anybody else work on their yearbook? I worked on the news publication, which met at the same time as yearbook, so I couldn't do yearbook. But I did I did want to do both. I just couldn't. So that was all high school, though. Apparently, Ryan with an I is an Irish spelling. I don't trust it. Not me. Unless I need to move to Ireland, then I'll change my name to R-I-A-N. Take a long time. And then the last one that we have here is the goofiest, the weirdest, the most... how are you guys voting? We haven't even gotten there yet. You guys are voting for Kensington, but we haven't even gotten to Macula yet. And Macula is a super weird one. And this one has a few different options, okay? They all go in different directions, okay? And this is definitely a Selvy font. You could never make this as a body cop font. But it is like a cube... It kind of feels like an Escher, MC Escher kind of composition, but it is letter forms instead. They have one that is just the line, but it's actually really cool when you do like shaded, which creates something really weird. There's also solid, which is if you want it to not be outlined. That's kind of probably best to be read if you need to. There is where you can do the line and then you can like duplicate it. Put the one behind it and then change the same thing from line to shading if you want to maybe just apply it to some places, or if you want to go through and just do background. That way you can kind of block it out. You can turn it on and off. And that one is called Macula. And see, now that we did that one, suddenly we have a few votes for Macula because Macula is pretty cool. I personally think all three of these are actually really neat, and I could find all different use cases for them. I don't think that I would ever pair any of them together. Like I said, I don't think any of these would be particularly great body copy except for Albiona. Albiona could easily be a body copy and a headline. I think that Kensington and what's it called? Macula. I keep wanting to call it Muca. I think would be really good headline fonts or poster design. Maybe we give this to Magdiel and have him kind of create something from it. But all three different ones, all three different feels. Water Tiger is saying, oh boy, that looks fun. And Tracy is saying, I'm glad I didn't vote too early. Exactly. Hello to Jimmy Flame. Welcome back. Good to see you here again. It's been a while. Thanks for tuning on in. We're just doing our font of the week. If you'd like to vote, make sure you go ahead and you hop over to the Adobe live chat over on YouTube. I'm going to go throw that in the chat for Behance people who need an easy, quick click. I will let that be open for a little bit more because we're live for about 20 more minutes, and then we will announce as we move on. But we've got so much more to go into, and we've got some ridiculous news to hop into. So let's hop into some ridiculous rebrand, and you'll see what I'm talking about in just 10 seconds. Hey, you guys know Max. It's the thing that was HBO, and then HBO Go, and then HBO Max, and then just Max, and then the Max updated from just looking like a blue Max to a black Max that kind of looked a little bit like the HBO Max that was before. Well, they announced today they're now going to rebrand to HBO Max, which is like, dude, what is, like, okay, if you're going to do one of them, like, you're just going to have to stick with it. And I understand, like, listening to people, Whew, I'm so happy about this news. I've been calling it HBO Max. We're celebrating the fact that they're going back to HBO Max, but boy, was that a journey. You gotta sometimes just let some people just figure things out on their own. It's interesting they switched up the letter forms again. They moved the circle that was inside the A for Max that was allusion to HBO. They said, we're bringing back HBO. They brought the circle back to the O, took it out of the A, and now it looks like HBO Max. This is something that you can expect to see differently over the course of the summer. They'll be updating it, and now we can finally relax and go back to HBO Max. Thank you to Wade. He's putting the official press release in the chat, which you guys can see is not fake news because it's coming straight from the horse's mouth. It is Warner Bros. Discovery. You can see same app, new-ish name, the plot twist everyone's been waiting for. Max is becoming HBO Max, coming home this summer. And they write up a little bit about why they're doing it. But boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Do you guys think they should have stayed with Max, or do you think that it is strong that they are going back to HBO Max? What do you guys think? Did you guys ever change it and start talking to just Max? I don't know. Wade is saying, OMG, same Ryan. Roscoe, my cat, is here on screen. What are your thoughts? No thoughts. All right. He's going to keep them for the chat. He's going to keep them, and he's going to let us know in the Discord because that's what we're all about. Yesenia is saying, y'all don't get me started with HBO. Oliver says HBO Max is rebranding to HBO Max. Yeah. Did I say that? Did I say that out loud? Max is just changed to HBO Max. But something that hits a little bit closer to home, the Adobe logo. You guys might have noticed this because this has been kind of a slow rollout, to be honest. But this week is one where it's actually kind of popping up everywhere. Adobe is officially updating their branding to have this really beautiful new system where it's not kind of that A in a block. It's instead really focusing on this border. It's focusing on a cool new update to Adobe. Our friends over at Creative Boom, Tom May, wrote up a really cool update for it, which is fun because Mother's Day just happened and it's Mother's Design. It was a creative software giant has unveiled a new brand identity developed in collaboration with Mother Design. And you guys can see all of the updates. You can see the way that it's applied, kind of having this red border, the big A, being able to really lean into the idea of things interacting with this square and having kind of this ownership of it being held. You can see that in our other thing that we have here. Where is it? With Draplin. He has the square right there with the Adobe with the lower A. You can see that actually also even on under consideration, which we like to check out a lot, they also noted that this was a change in an update. This is on their thing brand new. And if you're like saying, I don't even remember what the old Adobe looked like, it looked a little bit like this. So I really like the new A. It's incorporating what used to be kind of the symbol with Adobe on the side. Now it's all just part of the singular same word mark. It's a very thick, heavy font, so it has big weight and presence, which kind of makes up for the fact that that big A is no longer in a separated box. It is now on its own big word mark, which is all together. And I think that it's a really nice, clean update. I think for a lot of people, they didn't probably even notice that there was this change because it felt so natural, which I think is always a success because it just looks like it's clean and up to date. Apurva PR in the chat is saying that the D and the B are symmetrical, which is really nice around the O. So it's actually the DOB has this symmetry that's going through it. Yeah, it's got some really good write-ups all over the internet. I don't want to scroll through the brand new one because that is a paywall that I personally pay for, but I don't want to share. That said, the Creative Boom is fully free for yourself. It goes through the whole system. It's talking about the Adobe Clean Display, which is a typeface evolution developed in collaboration with Adobe's type design team and MCKL Type. And it just works. You know, it was at Max. You can see it. And it says at the end of here of Creative Boom, what can designers learn from this? There are a lot of changes on here then, but what's striking about this new identity is how unshocking it seems. That's kind of what I was saying. Yes, the visuals are new, vibrant, and fresh, but at the same time, everything feels natural and kind of like it's always been there, exactly as Mother envisaged. Envisaged? Is that the word of the day, you guys? Is that the word of the day? I don't know. More broadly, it's a great example of how to evolve a global brand with a deep heritage while maintaining recognition and preparing for future expansion. In other words, Mother didn't burn the old logo and branding to ashes. They did what every smart redesign should: evolve them. While some brands throw out the baby with the bathwater in the name of reinvention, Adobe's approach feels refreshingly mature. It's less rebrand and more realignment, the kind that doesn't alienate long-time users, but instead makes everything just feel a bit more inevitable, which is very well put by Tom May. Thank you, Tom May, for doing that. Make sure you guys check out Creative Boom. Give them some link clicks so they get good ad revenue. But I thought it was a really good write-up, and I definitely agree that it is a strong rebrand and looks nice. In the chat, Bruce is saying, look it up as far as the new word that I just learned, apparently. Oliver's saying, I was wondering what had changed because I was sure that A shape was there before. Now I see that it was in the logo, but not the same. Purvis saying it looks a little bit comical, and I like. As somebody who's a fan of comics, I also like it as well. Tracy is in YouTube chat saying, envisage is imagine or expect something in the future, especially something good. All right, so we're going to have to try to figure that out. Trace says that it's also new to her. She's getting her PhD, so I will say that. But we'll try to have to use envisage. We also need to see how to say it in future episodes. Bree's also saying, I like it, and I think it looks great. Alyssa is saying, sometimes you got to let corporations waste millions on multiple rebrands. And luckily, you don't have to here, you know? It's just all, mwah, it all just works. Which is great to see, and they didn't have to throw out the baby with the bathwater, because that's a good baby. Speaking of big rebrands, though, Google. This is coming from brand new as well. Google blends in. You guys can see that the G went from this divided up area on the left to this gradient on the right. I liked to include the image that brand new did, because guess what? They used a little smudge tool from Photoshop right here in their way of showing it. It's now a gradient. Something to be really noted here is that the ratio of colors has changed, which is interesting. The yellow was a lot smaller, and now it kind of has more of a space around the circular, which I think was a smart move. Oliver says, gradient. Google has discovered gradients, and we'll be talking about that even more in just 5 seconds, because Android also has an update. But I think it's good. We're getting closer to it. Also, this is not super done, you know, it's just kind of in the news cycle, but basically Google is under the watchful eye of the US government for separating from Google Chrome. And Google Chrome, I think, is very reminiscent in this kind of mock-up here. So I don't know if that's why they changed it or not, just in case they do have to distance and divest from it. Once again, this is not Adobe saying it. This is Ryan saying it. I think it's a great update. I think it looks nice. I look at it and I know it's Google. Same sort of thing as Adobe. Like, I'm like, okay. I won't even remember that it was divided in just a little bit. Yeah. Way to saying smooch. Yes, definitely smudging it on out. But also, this leaked last week and was actually finally announced, but the new material design for Android has been updated, and it's very loud, it's very young, it's very colorful. This is the new design standards that I keep saying Apple because it kind of looks like Apple, but it also still looks very Android. This is the way that Google is hoping that Android is able to update their new mark and their way to be able to interact with different apps. This is something that they announced, and I think we'll be rolling out in the coming updates, but is very pretty. It's updating both Android and Wear OS. This is the official website that has a breakdown saying Material 3 Expressive is making using your phone and watch more fluid, personal, and glanceable. They've got some really cool stuff here. It says Android's becoming more expressive. It shows how there's stuff on the bottom, how things kind of can move around and kind of slide and interact with one another. You can see some inspiration from other mobile OSs, both Apple and Windows here, with swiping and being able to move things around. And it just seems like something, once again, they're moving more towards a universal approach and the idea of things being fluid and not just all stuck in the same place, but kind of moving up over and over again. It says it's more personal, expressive phone experience with widgets. Has bigger icons for bigger fat thumbs like me, and it's fluid design as well for watch faces as well. Taking a look real quickly back at the font of the week, we have 21 votes in, folks. And of those 21 folks so far, do you guys want to say who's in the lead right now and see if you guys need to rally the forces? We're in a dead tie between Kensington and Macula. Not a lot of fans for the slab serif. You guys like to have a little something switched up. But that's going to hold that open for probably about 5 more minutes, and then we'll declare a winner. In the chat, we have Bruce Gonzalez saying he's not sure about the Android redesign. Would love to hear why you think that way, and would love to hear your opinion. It's Kane from Behance, but he's on YouTube. He says, I'm back, but probably have to go immediately. Well, we're glad to have you here at all. Thanks for making yourself known. If you guys are loitering, not loitering, lurking at all, make sure you say hi. It helps the algorithm. It helps me be able to point back to Adobe folks and say, hey guys, look, lots of people chatted. Everyone was really involved. So the more you chat, the better I look. So please chat away. Chat, 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 chat. And looks like over in the Behance chat, Umacorn is advocating for Macula. So we're going to at least need one more vote before we close this. We're up to 21 votes, and we're still in a dead end tie. Now let's go over into, what did I declare this as? I think I declared this as a resource. I think we're going to go on resources. TBD. We're going to switch over to resource, and guys, it ends up not being a resource. I'm sorry. But resources. This little tip, resource is coming from Reddit, and it is a post that says, and I quote, did you know that you can type in names instead of color codes? It's a lot fun and quicker way than searching for a specific shade. And this is from the Illustrator subreddit. You can see here, rather than putting in hex codes, they're putting in salmon. They're putting in tomato, and it's going and creating these colors. I went through and I was playing through a bunch of different of them. And it turns out that it is based off of CSS codes. So if you're wondering which ones you can do, it's really fun to just do trial and error. But honestly, if you want to like kind of just memorize a few, that then you don't have to memorize hex codes. There is this resourceful link of all these different ones that you can have. So we have crimson, hot pink, red, coral, orange, salmon, gold, chartreuse, if you can spell chartreuse without having to look it up, lime, aqua, Alice blue, cyan. So it's quite an extensive list of different ones. Also with grays, this might be a good one to know, like black, dark gray with an E rather than an A, dim gray, floral white, Gainsborough, and this is all updated, and then you can go from there. I have not tested to see if it's in Photoshop, so while we're here live, let's see if this works. Just go in, and rather than putting in a nope, so it's only an Illustrator thing. It's not in Photoshop, but it's important nonetheless, and it's kind of pretty cool. So make sure you check it out next time you're in Illustrator. But it does work. I definitely tried it last night, and it was fun to play around with, and to know that you can just use the things rather than that. Tracy said, I thought you meant I could type my own name and find my color. I mean, you could try to write it in Tracy. It'll probably tell you that there's no color there. It'll just change it to white or black, and then you're just like, okay, in between two, 100 or 0. But exciting nonetheless. And Oliver says, I use that exact site to find the names, which is fun. And yeah, just a cool way to interact with it, and that way you don't have to remember 0000EE, which is a blue that I tend to use for links all the time. And then I wanted to show, we showed a little bit of Graphicdesignpark the other day, and I have since been really just absorbing a lot of their content to learn new things. And they went over this curvature tool. It shows you how not to do it first, and then we'll switch back. But you can see that it is creating a kind of block around here for this T, and then just switching over, and then you can double click onto the points to then make it all turn into nice little curves, so that you don't have to worry as much about creating these crazy things. I'll let it play through one more time. We're up to 24 votes in the font of the week, and it looks like somebody's pulling ahead. We'll announce it in about 2 minutes. But I thought this was really helpful. Also, revisiting the Android conversation, Bruce is saying, never had an Android, Ryan. I'm kind of biased. Seems a little overwhelming, but it looks a bit cluttered. And Bruce says biased to Apple. But yeah. And then there's one other one that I wanted to also show, which was this really cool rope approach that's also by Graphicdesignpark on Instagram. And this is the ability to be able to make pattern brushes. You'll see that he's creating a shape that looks kind of like a, I don't know, like a dove kind of, and then putting them side by side, and then making sure that they use the shape builder to then create a repeatable pattern that then drags into a new brush, pattern brush, turns into this thing. So then now they can go in and they can replace the stroke with the brush, and then they have this adjustable rope brush that then can be added to whatever. I really want to explore with this. You could probably do something with like berries if you wanted to, or knots or braids. Just as long as you're able to make it so that it's repeatable from the left to the right, then you can just turn it into a brush, and then you can apply that brush at any point to any sort of path that you have that you just want to replace with a brush stroke, and then it makes your life a lot easier, and you can create some stuff, which is really neat. So thank you so much for Graphic Design Park. Make sure you give them a follow. They post really great stuff, and if you're ever just trying to you're like, I have 2 minutes and I want to learn something new about Illustrator, they're a really good place to stop by. There we go. And then on the Illustrator subreddit, there was a really cool post about Project Neo that I guys wanted to share with you guys. It is a fact of that you can copy and paste vectors from Illustrator to Neo and then send back to Illustrator, which is really nice. If you're not familiar with Project Neo is a web-based 3D platform by Adobe that is included with your Creative Cloud. And this just does a really good job thanks to Wes McDermott, who you guys probably have seen on stream before, and is able to copy and paste it straight in between Illustrator and Project Neo, which is super neat. So if you guys end up playing around in Project Neo at all, would love to hear what you think. And then we only have a few seconds left, so we're going to hop into Spotlight very quickly. While I was hanging out on the subreddits, I also switched by the typography subreddit, and there was just this is not a resource or anything. It just says if you pause anywhere in the video, it will look like doctor's handwriting, which I thought was hilarious, of this kind of moving water. And it does look like someone is signing you a prescription. And yeah, that's just cute. This is coming from IDK just Sora. Look, we can pause. Oop, they signed for something. Oop, all right. Oop, gonna pick up my prescription. Which is just fun, and kinetic type, and also being able to see type in the world around us. And then the last thing we have today is 99% has a new episode all about emojis and law. And I thought this was really interesting, and I wanted to include it in the show because emojis are something that are popping up more and more to design. It's happening up more and more in the way that we communicate. And it's a very fun, short episode. It's 33 minutes long, which is shorter than this episode. It talks all about how there are an increasing amount of cases of emojis being used in the government under law and under court cases. And there's Unicode, who is trying to standardize all of them, but at the same time, different things can look differently on different platforms. They bring up the gun emoji, which has been in some places switched to a water gun. In other places, it's still a real gun. In other places, it flips the side, so it changes the message. There are times where people have been arrested for using it, and other times it's like being used sarcastically. It's very interesting in a way in expressing how we are interacting with design, how quickly it changes online, how it's hard to keep up with it. And it's a fun little read. Not a read, it is a listen on 99% Invisible. We got about a minute left, so I guess we can declare the font of the week. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? The font of the week with 27 votes. We're going to end the poll. Goes to, drumroll please, Macula, which is the one that I wanted to win, and I didn't even get a vote. But that got 51% of the vote. So I'll be sure to go and put that in the Discord. Make sure you guys hop over into the Discord. It is linked in the description. Would love to see you guys there. I want to talk to you guys more about stories as they're going on, and then I can quote you and bring you into the show. But thank you everyone for watching. We'll be back here again next week, same time, same place. Make sure you stick around because Office Hours is up next. with Nick Longo and Andrew Hockrottle. And then, like I said, I'll be back again on Friday with a different show. That'll be with Emily, but next week we'll be here with File New. Make sure you guys check out all the different shows that we went through. You guys can hit me up on Discord. I'd love to hear links or things that you're interested in. Thank you to Wade for moderating, and I will see you all next week. Take it easy. My name is Ryan Selvy, RyanSelvy. You can follow me on Blue Sky. Do me a favor, give this video on YouTube a thumbs up for me if you haven't already. And I'll see y'all real soon. Thanks for watching.